Have you ever wondered how some of the greatest minds in history managed to produce ideas that have shaped the world for millennia? The Greek philosophers Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and their contemporaries were not just thinkers. They were masters of learning, retention, and critical analysis. Their timeless methods of study weren't confined to dusty scrolls or grand debates. They were rooted in principles that still resonate in our modern, fast-paced world. These ancient scholars approached knowledge with curiosity, discipline, and a profound respect for the process of learning. Socrates championed the power of asking the right questions to uncover deeper truths. Plato believed in the necessity of quiet reflection to process and solidify understanding. Aristotle emphasized the role of repetition and habit in mastering any subject. Together, their philosophies offer a treasure trove of strategies that can help anyone improve focus, deepen understanding, and enhance retention. In this video, we'll uncover the study routines of these legendary thinkers, exploring how their methods can be applied to your life today. From asking questions that spark insight to incorporating reflection and repetition into your learning, these timeless practices offer tools for navigating the complexities of modern education and personal growth. Join us as we delve into the ancient wisdom of the Greeks and discover how to turn their philosophies into practical habits that will sharpen your mind and transform the way you learn. In the bustling streets of ancient Athens, Socrates, the enigmatic philosopher, could often be found engaging citizens in deep, probing conversations. His approach to learning wasn't about delivering lectures or memorizing facts, but about uncovering truths through dialogue, a process we now call the Socratic method. This method is a powerful tool for learning and critical thinking, as relevant today as it was over 2 millennia ago. At its core, the Socratic method revolves around asking thoughtful, open-ended questions that challenge assumptions and encourage deeper understanding. Instead of accepting information at face value, Socrates believed in interrogating ideas to reveal their underlying truths. Questions like, "What do you mean by that?" or "Why do you believe this to be true?" were his tools for peeling back layers of thought, encouraging his interlocutors to examine their own beliefs critically. This method isn't just about answering questions, it's about thinking through them. It creates a dynamic learning environment where ideas are explored from multiple angles, fostering clarity and uncovering gaps in knowledge. Socrates demonstrated that by engaging with others in thoughtful dialogue, we refine our understanding and learn to think more clearly and logically. So, how can you incorporate this method into your study routine? Start by questioning what you learn. For every new concept, ask yourself, what does this really mean? Why is this important? How does it connect to what I already know? What assumptions am I making about this? You can also apply the Socratic method in group study sessions. Instead of simply reviewing notes or answering questions, challenge your peers and yourself to explain and defend their ideas. Engage in discussions that push you to think critically, question your assumptions, and arrive at well-reasoned conclusions. Another effective practice is journaling in the Socratic style. Write down a question or statement related to your studies, then answer it as thoroughly as possible. Follow up with additional questions that emerge from your initial response, creating a dialogue on the page. This exercise not only deepens your understanding but also strengthens your ability to articulate complex ideas. By adopting the Socratic method, you'll move beyond rote memorization and into the realm of true comprehension. It's a timeless approach to learning that sharpens your mind, fosters curiosity, and equips you to tackle challenges with critical insight. As Socrates himself famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." By examining ideas as he did, you'll not only improve your studies but also enrich your understanding of the world. For Aristotle, learning wasn't about fleeting inspiration or sudden bursts of understanding. Instead, he believed mastery came from consistent, deliberate repetition. In his eyes, knowledge and skill were like a finely crafted sculpture, slowly shaped over time with each careful stroke. This focus on repetition not only set the foundation for his teaching methods but also offers timeless wisdom for improving retention and building habits that stick. Aristotle famously said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. To him, repetition was the key to transforming knowledge into wisdom and potential into mastery. He observed that humans learn by doing repeating actions or ideas until they become second nature. For Aristotle, the path to excellence wasn't paved by innate talent but by consistent practice and refinement. This principle remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece. Modern neuroscience supports Aristotle's insights, showing that repetition strengthens neural pathways, making it easier for us to recall and apply what we've learned. But how can we apply his philosophy to our study routines? Let's explore practical strategies for leveraging the power of repetition. Spaced repetition, a proven method. One of the most effective ways to reinforce learning is through spaced repetition, a technique that involves reviewing material at gradually increasing intervals. This method leverages the psychological spacing effect, which shows that information is better retained when reviewed periodically over time rather than crammed in one sitting. To use spaced repetition, try breaking your study material into manageable chunks. Review each chunk shortly after learning it, then revisit it the next day, a few days later, and again after a week. Flashcard apps like Anki or Quizlet make this process easy by automatically scheduling reviews based on how well you recall the material. The rule of repetition in daily practice. Aristotle's teachings also emphasize the importance of integrating repetition into daily life. This can be as simple as dedicating a set time each day to review notes, practice problems, or reread key concepts. For example, spend 10 minutes each morning summarizing what you learned the previous day. Use the 5-minute review technique before bed to quickly revisit key concepts from earlier in the day. These small, consistent actions create a rhythm of learning that steadily builds retention and understanding over time. Active engagement. Making repetition dynamic. Repetition doesn't have to mean mindless rote learning. Aristotle would advocate for repetition with reflection and purpose. When reviewing material, engage actively by writing summaries in your own words, teaching the material to someone else or explaining it aloud to yourself, asking new questions about the material to explore it from different perspectives. These methods help solidify your understanding while keeping the process engaging. Creating habits for lifelong learning. Aristotle's emphasis on repetition wasn't limited to academic learning. He viewed it as a universal principle for forming good habits. Just as we practice kindness to become kinder or courage to become braver, we must practice studying to become better learners. Building a consistent routine, whether through a daily study schedule or weekly review sessions, turns repetition into a habit that fuels continuous growth. Why repetition matters. In a world overflowing with distractions and information, Aristotle's lessons on repetition remind us of the value of steady, deliberate effort. By revisiting material consistently, engaging with it actively, and forming habits of practice, we transform fleeting knowledge into lasting wisdom. Ultimately, repetition isn't just about memorizing facts. It's about embedding understanding so deeply that it becomes a part of who we are. As Aristotle taught us, the journey to excellence is not a sprint but a marathon of small, deliberate steps. By embracing the power of repetition, you not only master the material but also cultivate the habits and discipline that lead to lifelong learning. For Plato, the act of learning was never a mere acquisition of facts or a mechanical process of memorization. Instead, he saw it as a deeply introspective journey, one that required careful reflection and uninterrupted solitude. Plato believed that knowledge was not something simply handed to us but something we unearth through inner exploration. His philosophy underscores the importance of stepping away from the noise, immersing oneself in thought, and allowing the mind to digest and internalize what it has absorbed. The role of reflection in learning. Plato's dialogues, such as the Republic and Phaedrus, reveal his belief that genuine understanding comes not from external instruction alone, but from examining our own thoughts and ideas. He often depicted Socrates engaging in reflective dialogue with himself or others, questioning deeply held beliefs and exploring their implications. For Plato, this reflective process was crucial to turning surface-level knowledge into profound insight. In our fast-paced, information-saturated world, Plato's emphasis on reflection feels more relevant than ever. Bombarded by constant notifications, deadlines, and distractions, we often neglect the time needed to sit quietly and think. Yet, this quiet time is essential for connecting new information to our existing knowledge, identifying patterns, and forming meaningful insights. Plato also understood the transformative power of solitude. He believed that withdrawing from the external world allowed individuals to engage with their inner world, a place where true learning and creativity could flourish. His metaphor of the cave in the Republic illustrates this point. Only by turning inward and contemplating the nature of reality can we escape the shadows of ignorance and see the world as it truly is. Modern neuroscience supports Plato's insights, showing that the brain processes and consolidates information more effectively during periods of rest and introspection. When we step away from active study or problem solving and allow our minds to wander, we engage the brain's default mode network, a system that plays a key role in memory consolidation, creativity, and problem solving. Practical ways to incorporate reflection and solitude. How can we apply Plato's philosophy to our modern study routines? Here are practical steps for incorporating reflection and solitude into your daily life. Schedule quiet time. Set aside dedicated time each day for uninterrupted reflection. This could be as little as 10-15 minutes in the morning or evening, during which you review what you've learned and think about its broader implications. Keep a reflection journal. Writing is one of the most effective ways to engage in reflective practice. After studying, spend a few minutes summarizing what you've learned, noting any questions that arise, or exploring how the material connects to your personal experiences and goals. Take breaks for deep thinking. Incorporate short breaks during study sessions to step away from active learning. Use this time to reflect on key ideas or visualize how concepts fit together. This mental pause can enhance retention and spark new insights. Minimize distractions. Create a quiet, distraction-free environment where you can focus entirely on your thoughts. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and let yourself be fully present in the moment. Practice mindful introspection. Adopt mindfulness techniques, such as meditation or deep breathing, to calm the mind and focus your thoughts. These practices can help you process information more effectively and reduce stress, allowing for deeper reflection. Why reflection matters. Plato's emphasis on reflection and solitude serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of quality over quantity in learning. It's not enough to simply accumulate knowledge. We must also take the time to process, question, and internalize it. Reflection transforms raw information into understanding, helping us see connections, identify gaps, and uncover new perspectives. In embracing Plato's philosophy, we step beyond the surface of learning and engage in a deeper, more meaningful process. By setting aside time for quiet contemplation, we create space for insights to emerge, for wisdom to take root, and for true understanding to flourish. So, the next time you sit down to study, remember Plato's timeless advice. Take a moment to pause, reflect, and let the stillness guide you to clarity. After all, it's not just about what you learn, it's about how deeply you let it shape your understanding of the world. The ancient Greek philosophers were not confined to scrolls and debates in the agora. They often looked to the natural world as their greatest teacher. For thinkers like Aristotle, studying nature was not just a way to understand the world, it was a way to deepen knowledge, refine reasoning, and reinforce learning through observation and experience. Their approach to learning reminds us of the importance of moving beyond abstract concepts and engaging directly with the environment around us. Aristotle, often regarded as the father of modern science, saw nature as a treasure trove of knowledge. He meticulously observed plants, animals, and ecosystems, recording details about their forms, functions, and interactions. His works, such as Historia Animalium, exemplify his belief in experiential learning, the idea that true understanding arises from studying things as they are in their natural state. Aristotle's emphasis on observation laid the groundwork for the scientific method. He believed that abstract theories were meaningless unless rooted in empirical evidence. For him, every detail of the natural world, no matter how small, held the potential to reveal profound truths about the universe and humanity's place within it. The Greek philosophers' practice of studying nature illustrates the power of experiential learning by doing and observing rather than solely relying on theoretical study. They understood that real-world applications and hands-on experience often clarify abstract concepts and make them more memorable. For instance, Aristotle's classification of living organisms was not based on second-hand accounts but on detailed studies of specimens. Similarly, philosophers like Thales and Anaximander drew on observations of the stars, tides, and seasons to formulate early theories about astronomy and geography. By engaging directly with the natural world, these philosophers developed a holistic understanding that combined logic, intuition, and sensory experience. This approach not only reinforced their knowledge but also made their learning process dynamic and deeply interconnected with the world around them. What can we learn from the Greek philosophers' relationship with nature? Here are some practical ways to incorporate experiential learning and observation into your study routine. 1. Relate abstract ideas to real-world examples. When studying complex concepts, look for examples in everyday life that mirror those ideas. For example, if you're learning about physics, observe how a ball rolls down a hill or how a pendulum swings. If you're studying biology, take a walk in nature and note the diversity of plants and animals around you. 2. Conduct simple experiments. Reinforce your learning by testing theories through hands-on activities. Whether it's a scientific experiment, a DIY project, or trying out a historical recipe, engaging actively with the material helps you internalize it more effectively. 3. Keep a journal of observations. Just as Aristotle kept detailed records of his studies, maintain a journal to document your observations, insights, and questions. This practice can help you connect theoretical knowledge to practical experiences. 4. Engage your senses. Learning becomes more impactful when it engages multiple senses. Explore textures, sounds, and patterns in the world around you. For example, studying geometry? Look for symmetry in architecture. Learning about ecosystems? Spend time in a park to observe firsthand the interconnectedness of living things. 5. Step outside the classroom. Whenever possible, take your studies outdoors. A change of environment stimulates the brain and helps you associate knowledge with specific locations or experiences. Field trips, nature walks, or even studying in a garden can spark curiosity and reinforce retention. Nature offers a living, breathing classroom where lessons are infinite. By observing the world as the Greek philosophers did, we unlock the potential to see connections that textbooks alone cannot reveal. Whether it's the pattern of tree branches resembling neural networks or the rhythm of waves mirroring mathematical sequences, the natural world can make learning feel tangible and deeply resonant. The Greek philosophers understood that studying nature was not just about acquiring knowledge, but about cultivating a sense of wonder and curiosity. In their view, the pursuit of wisdom was a lifelong journey, fueled by an intimate connection to the world around them. Incorporating the lessons of Greek philosophers into your study routine doesn't require you to become a scientist or philosopher. Instead, it's about adopting their mindset of curiosity, observation, and experiential learning. By stepping outside, engaging with the environment, and making learning a dynamic process, you can transform abstract knowledge into something vibrant and unforgettable. So, as you study, remember Aristotle's timeless advice. Look to nature, it has much to teach, and its lessons will stay with you long after the pages of your books have been closed. For the ancient Greeks, the pursuit of wisdom wasn't solely a mental endeavor, it was a holistic practice that intertwined the mind, body, and spirit. Greek philosophers understood that mental sharpness was deeply connected to physical well-being and emotional balance. They believed that nurturing the whole self was essential for a life of learning and reflection. In an age of heightened distractions and sedentary lifestyles, their approach remains as relevant as ever, offering valuable lessons on achieving peak cognitive performance. The ancient Greeks were pioneers of the concept of balance. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle emphasized that a well-functioning mind required a well-cared-for body. Their teachings, coupled with the physical culture of the time, promoted the idea that intellectual pursuits should go hand in hand with physical activity and rest. This philosophy was embodied in the concept of kallikagathia, which celebrated the unity of physical and moral excellence. To the Greeks, developing mental acuity while neglecting physical health was counterproductive. They recognized that clarity of thought, focus, and memory were often the natural byproducts of a strong and healthy body. The connection between exercise and cognitive function was intuitively understood by the Greeks. Socrates himself was known for taking long walks to engage in philosophical discussions, a practice echoed by Aristotle, who taught his students while strolling in the Lyceum's peripatetic halls. Walking and light exercise were not just physical activities, they were moments of inspiration and intellectual clarity. Modern science now validates this ancient wisdom, showing that regular physical activity improves blood flow to the brain, enhances memory, and reduces stress, all of which are essential for effective learning. Activities like yoga, jogging, or even a brisk walk can work wonders for enhancing focus and retention during study sessions. While physical activity played a significant role, the Greeks also valued the power of stillness and reflection. Plato and the Stoics often spoke about mindfulness as a tool for emotional regulation and deep thought. The practice of contemplation, whether through quiet reflection or meditation, was essential for processing complex ideas and achieving a sense of inner balance. Incorporating mindfulness into your study routine can improve focus and reduce anxiety, creating a fertile ground for learning. Even 5 minutes of deep breathing or meditation before tackling a challenging subject can sharpen your mind and improve concentration. Aristotle once remarked, "It is well to be up before daybreak, for such habits contribute to health, wealth, and wisdom." While the Greeks celebrated discipline, they also understood the necessity of rest. They recognized that the brain, like the body, requires recovery to perform optimally. Adequate sleep, in particular, was seen as vital for memory consolidation and intellectual growth. In today's fast-paced world, this principle is often overlooked. However, modern neuroscience confirms that deep sleep is when the brain processes and stores information. Creating a study routine that respects the need for sufficient rest is not just beneficial, it's essential for long-term retention and productivity. Practical tips inspired by Greek wisdom. 1. Incorporate physical activity. Schedule regular exercise into your daily routine, even if it's as simple as a 20-minute walk or a light workout. Use these moments to reflect on what you've learned or to clear your mind before diving into your studies. 2. Practice mindfulness. Set aside time for mindfulness practices, such as meditation, journaling, or simply sitting in quiet reflection. These moments of stillness can help you process new information and cultivate a sense of calm. 3. Prioritize sleep. Create a consistent sleep schedule that allows for 7-9 hours of quality rest. Avoid cramming late into the night. Instead, use the early morning hours when your mind is fresh and alert. 4. Maintain a balanced diet. Fuel your body and brain with nutritious foods. The Greeks valued fresh fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, which provide sustained energy and mental clarity. Avoid excessive caffeine or sugar, which can lead to crashes in focus. 5. Alternate work and breaks. Adopt a rhythm that alternates periods of focused work with short, restorative breaks. For example, Try the Pomodoro technique: 25 minutes of study followed by a 5-minute break to stay sharp and avoid burnout. The Greek philosophers' emphasis on harmony between mind and body reminds us that effective learning isn't about pushing ourselves to the brink. It's about nurturing every aspect of our being to create an environment where knowledge can flourish. In a world where the pressures to achieve are immense, taking a step back to honor this holistic approach can transform not only how we learn but also how we live. By moving, reflecting, and resting in balance, we can unlock a deeper potential within ourselves, just as the Greek philosophers envisioned. As you implement these timeless principles, remember that true wisdom lies not just in what you know but in how you care for the vessel that holds that knowledge, your whole self. The Greek philosophers, renowned for their wisdom, understood that writing wasn't just a way to record information, it was a powerful tool for deepening understanding and improving retention. Figures like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius didn't simply jot down their thoughts. They used writing as a means to refine their ideas, organize their thinking, and solidify their grasp on complex concepts. For them, the act of writing wasn't just a physical task, it was an essential part of their intellectual process. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, believed that writing helped him clarify his thoughts and keep track of his philosophical reflections. His writings, many of which were recorded by his student Arian, are a testament to his belief that jotting down one's thoughts could bring order to the chaos of the mind. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, kept a journal throughout his life, using it as a tool to reflect on his actions and refine his thinking. His meditations are filled with personal notes, often recorded in the form of self-reminders or philosophical reflections aimed at self-improvement. For both philosophers, writing wasn't just about preserving knowledge, it was about engaging with it more deeply. By writing, they were able to reflect, question, and revisit their thoughts in a structured way, reinforcing their learning and allowing ideas to become internalized. In today's fast-paced world, the practice of writing as a tool for learning has never been more important. Writing doesn't simply help you record information, it helps you process, consolidate, and retain it. The act of putting pen to paper activates your brain in a way that passive reading or listening cannot. This is why note-taking and journaling have become key practices for students and learners worldwide. To incorporate the wisdom of the Greek philosophers into your own study routine, consider these strategies for effective note-taking and journaling. 1. Summarize key points. Rather than writing down every word, focus on summarizing key ideas and concepts. This method will help you engage with the material and process it more deeply, much like how Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius distilled their thoughts into concise, meaningful notes. 2. Reflect and ask questions. Don't just record information, use your notes as a space to reflect. Write down questions or thoughts that arise as you learn, just as the Stoic philosophers did in their journals. This practice encourages deeper engagement with the material and helps you understand it on a more profound level. 3. Review and revise regularly. The ancient philosophers didn't just write once, they revisited their notes and refined their understanding over time. Set aside time to review your notes regularly. Rewriting or revising your notes after a study session helps reinforce the material and ensures it stays fresh in your mind. 4. Practice journaling for reflection. Take inspiration from Marcus Aurelius and dedicate a few minutes each day to write in a journal. Whether you reflect on your day, jot down philosophical insights, or engage with your learning, journaling can enhance self-awareness and retention. It's also a great way to track your progress and see how your understanding evolves. 5. Organize and categorize your notes. Organization is key to retention. Consider categorizing your notes by themes or topics. Use headings, bullet points, or diagrams to make the information more digestible and easier to review. This practice mimics the way the philosophers organized their thoughts, helping them stay focused and efficient in their learning. By following in the footsteps of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, modern learners can harness the transformative power of writing. It's not just about recording information, it's about using writing as a tool to reflect, refine, and retain knowledge in a meaningful way. Whether through note-taking or journaling, the act of writing provides a concrete method for internalizing complex ideas and organizing thoughts, ultimately enhancing retention and deepening understanding. So, next time you sit down to study, remember the timeless wisdom of the Greek philosophers. Writing isn't just a task, it's a path to mastery. The study routines of the Greek philosophers Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and others offer timeless strategies that remain highly relevant in today's fast-paced, information-saturated world. From the Socratic method of dialogue and questioning to Aristotle's emphasis on repetition and mastery, these ancient thinkers understood the value of active engagement with knowledge, reflection, and critical thinking. Plato's focus on solitude for deep thought, Aristotle's advocacy for consistent practice, and Epictetus's use of writing to refine ideas all highlight the powerful ways in which we can engage with and retain what we learn. By incorporating these principles into your own study routine, you can deepen your understanding, improve your focus, and make your learning more effective. Whether through dialogue, repetition, reflection, or writing, the ancient wisdom of the Greeks can provide valuable tools for mastering new concepts and retaining them for the long term. Now, it's your turn to experiment. Try applying some of these techniques to your daily study habits. Ask yourself the right questions, write down your thoughts, repeat important concepts, and take time for deep reflection. These simple yet profound methods can make all the difference in how you retain and apply new knowledge. We'd love to hear from you. Share your favorite study tips or let us know how you plan to incorporate Greek philosophy into your own learning routine. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation about how we can all learn more effectively in the modern world using the ancient wisdom that still resonates today.